Hey guys, welcome back to TTMR. We're back with me and Sean, and today we will be reviewing the second episode of Marvel's She-Hulk, with this episode being titled Superhuman Law.
In the newest episode of She-Hulk, titled Superhuman Law, we see the effects of Jen revealing herself as a person with superpowers, as She-Hulk. What follows in this episode is Jen getting fired from her job of lawyering because of her newly revealed Hulk abilities. However, she is provided with a new opportunity for a lawyering job, which she blindly accepts, not realizing that it's actually a special type of lawyer for superpowered people. Jen is hesitant at first, both from the change and is further concerned by the fact that she has to defend Emil Blonsky, but warms up to both as she researches more about what the job really is and more about the man that she needs to defend.
To start off, this episode isn't nearly as good as the first one, but it's not bad by any means. This episode is very uneventful when we compare it to the first one, where in the first we have Jen's whole backstory and some Hulk on Hulk action, and in this one we really don't get anything. We see Jen get her new job and get assigned to be Emil Blonsky's lawyer, and we get to see Hulk flying in a spaceship to go visit Sakaar, and that's it. I really wasn't thrilled with this episode as nothing really substantial was going on. This episode wasn't bad in the slightest. I mean, I still had a really good time watching, but it couldn't get me hooked like the first episode did. Oh, and that Wolverine Easter egg has me so excited for what's to come with the mutants.
Honestly, when I really think about it, there was not a lot that I have to talk about regarding this episode. This is due to the fact that the episode itself was honestly just short in general, but also not really anything of note happened during it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved seeing the progress that Jen was making in her lawyering career by officially becoming a superhero-specific lawyer and all, but when the episode ended, I really was not left with much to say about it afterwards. Okay, yeah. We got to see Emil Blonsky, the Abomination, and that final part of the episode was pretty cool, with seeing on the news Abomination going head-to-head with Wong again in the Underground Fight Club. But other than that, there isn't anything else that stands out to me about this episode, and therefore not a lot of stuff that I really distinctly like about it.
There were honestly some good qualities to this episode, such as seeing Emil Blonsky again after him being gone for so long. I did enjoy all the scenes of him and Jen talking due to the fact that Emil and Bruce have such a rocky past, and I also liked the scene of him talking about how he was writing haikus to all of his victims. Seeing Jen get a new job also made me feel extremely happy for her. Tatiana Maslany really shows how great of an actress she is in this show, and I've been really hooked on her character's likable and fun nature.
This episode was certainly an interesting one when taking a step back and finding a number that would give justice to this episode. Both Max and I made it clear already that the second episode really was bland compared to the first one, and definitely not nearly as good as a whole. This is why Max and I both ended up rating this episode of She-Hulk with a 7 out of 10, which of course averages out to a 70%. Honestly, this rating may seem low, but this doesn't mean that the entire show is bad or it's going downhill from here. It's just this episode, which is clearly just meant to act as a transition into Jen's new life and first client in this new life. It ends up being a really boring episode.
Overall, this episode isn't nearly as good as the first one. However, this episode still gives us a fun time through its story and characters. The main cliffhanger at the end of this episode is Jen turning on her TV and seeing the Abomination fighting in an underground fight club. Using what we've seen in the trailers, this is most likely how we're going to be introduced to Wong and get the whole story of why we saw him fighting the Abomination in Shang-Chi. Even with the low scores and not much to say about this episode, I still definitely would not skip out on it, as it is still a fun watch.
So, with that being said, that has been a review of She-Hulk Episode 2. Remember that this is just our opinion, so you don't necessarily have to believe everything that is said here. Come back soon for more reviews, or browse existing ones on the channel.
Make sure to check out our Twitter for sneak peeks and updates on our future projects. We hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and if you enjoyed, you could like or subscribe to help us out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.